Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Oh, well, I lost some sunlight there. It's okay. Hopefully, it'll come back. Uh, wanted to touch base with everybody. I already made a post about what things have been like for me for the past maybe 10 days or so. Uh, on the days leading up to my birthday, which was April 20th, which was Easter Sunday, things have just been kind of crazy. Had some pet emergencies that I had to deal with last minute. And if you have pets like guinea pigs, which have a limited amount of like vet services, it's very hard to actually find vets for guinea pigs, very limited amount. Um, you know that process can be difficult if you have any kind of exotic animal. So that was stressful. So I had to deal with that. And on the day of my birthday, it was actually okay. It was actually a really good day. Really good day. But the days leading up to and then the days following were just insane. Another thing also with the days leading up to my birthday was Holy Week. So there was a lot of church going and I'm definitely don't consider myself a Christian, but um my husband is very much into um going to church and engaging in the rituals um during important times like that. So it's been a part of his life for a very long time. So I always come to any kind of service that he's a part of because he was actually a part of the service, not we weren't just sitting there watching, he was actually a part of it. So we were engaging in that. And then after my birthday, some things happened that were very upsetting that I actually am not ready to talk about yet. Um, but they are things that I'm still working on recovering from emotionally. Uh, and I also ended up getting sick the day after my birthday. And I'm just now really just completely over it. It took some time for me to completely get over it. So, like the day after my birthday, and then the day after that, I had a fever that, caught me off guard, and I thought it was allergies. I'm like, why isn't my allergy medicine working? Because it wasn't allergies, but it felt like allergies at first. And then I woke up in the middle of the night feeling really cold and sweaty. I'm like, uh-oh, something's wrong. But anyway, so I had to deal with that for about 10 days. And then in the midst of all of that, having to go to work, and it was a very ungrounding time. And I'm just now really starting to come back into my body and feel more present and grounded and solid. But before I was just up in the air. It was just so much. And in the midst of all of that, a big transformation was happening. And I didn't even realize it at the time until I really got the chance to really rest and spend all day in bed. And I'm like, oh my God, like things have changed. Like I'm processing a lot. So there's that. And then because of these changes, and maybe as a part of the changes too, I've noticed that my diet has shifted a bit in the sense that I have to eat a lot less right now. Now, I don't know if that's permanent, if it's temporary, but I'm at a point where I have to basically cut my portions in half, which for me is a lot. As someone who loves food, who loves the idea of food and the reality of it, I love to eat, I like to cook, I like to bake, all those things. I especially love to eat. That has been very difficult for me. So, that's another thing that's just been weighing a bit heavy on me, no pun intended. um, but beyond that, I wanted to touch base before I shared this tidbit of insight and personal reflection. You could hear now this is allergies, but I took something which has been helping. But I sat outside for a while today. But yes, I wanted to share this tidbit of wisdom and insight that I was reflecting on. Um, I was thinking about this because this is something that I've personally gone through that I'm sure a lot of other people are going through or have gone through before, and it may benefit some people. Please know that if you don't get exactly what you're asking for. It's not because you're not worthy of it, of having what it is that you want. Sorry, my nose is itching. It's not because you're not worthy of having what you want. So, what we can do right now is that when we're in a situation where we're really wanting something and it doesn't happen, we can cut out the idea of worthiness out of the equation completely. Because when we don't get what we're asking for, it's not because we're not worthy of it, not worthy of having it. And I want to mention this because I know for a long time it's something that I struggled with. I thought to myself, why is it that other people are getting what they want? Or why is it that it just things happen so easily for people? Why is it that it's so easy for someone to, I don't know, let's say they want something in particular and they could just buy it, but I'm sitting here and I'm struggling, or I'm sitting here and I'm having to, you know, like kind of pinch pennies and look for pennies in the couch to get what it is that I want. And what I was thinking to myself, subconsciously, I guess, because it wasn't a conscious thought, was that I was unworthy. And this is why it was happening to me, is because obviously I don't deserve to get what it is that I want. And this is why it hasn't happened. And I just want to reaffirm for everyone, and it took me some time to realize, is that worthiness has nothing to do with why you're not getting exactly what it is that you want. You may subconsciously believe that it is, but that's not the truth. And this is something that we really have to learn to dissolve in our belief systems, because it really does hold us back. Because if we accept that as the truth, we almost end up creating it. We create situations, or we draw situations to us that almost like reconfirm what we already believe. And the other thing that can happen is, like, when we see it happen, it reaffirms for us, like, see? Like, so when we don't get what we want and we're struggling, it's like, see, I knew that that was the truth, because if it weren't, I would have gotten what I wanted already. But basically what we're doing is we're just putting ourselves into a, what word am I looking for? Just like a cycle, or like a self-fulfilling kind of prophecy situation. And I had to really take some time when stuff like this started to happen to really sit down and say, why is this happening? What is the real reason behind it? And the reason why I had to really sit down with it is because when it's time for these beliefs to clear themselves out, they actually start to amplify. They start to happen more, and they start to become more intense. And they become more intense because they're trying to get your attention. The beliefs are trying to get your attention, to say, this is not serving you anymore, so it's time to get rid of it. So I really had to sit down and say to myself, so why is this actually happening? And why is it intensifying? Why is it getting worse? It's not getting better, it's getting worse. So I really had to reflect on what beliefs I was sitting in and ask myself, is that really true? Is that really the case? It took me some time to get there, but I was able to resolve those beliefs and change them. But I just wanted to let everyone know, if that's something that you're battling with, that you're dealing with, that, you know, you feel like because something isn't happening, maybe it's relationship wise, you know, maybe you're not finding the right person that you want, or maybe you have somebody and they're just not, you know, they're not exactly what you hoped for, you know, nobody's perfect. Or maybe it's a job situation. Maybe you're looking for a certain job or career and things are just not happening the way that you want them to. Try not to get down on yourself about why it's happening, and try not to project too much onto the situation. But if you find yourself projecting onto the situation, really sit with it and ask yourself, is this really true? The next tidbit I'll share with you is that a lot of the times when we're not getting exactly what it is we're asking for, it's not because we're not worthy of having what we want. You're always worthy of having the things that you truly desire. But sometimes what we think we want is not going to serve us in the way that we think. We have our own vision and our own belief as to what we think getting what it is that we're wanting, what that'll do for us, how that'll serve us, and what place that it's going to put us in. But we have to remember that the universe and all of creation has a lot more insight and a lot more, has a wider view, understanding, knowing, perspective on what would actually happen if you got exactly what it was that you wanted. And maybe it doesn't serve you in the way that you need to be served, that you deserve to be served. Sometimes it's a matter of it not serving you the way that you want. And sometimes it's also a matter of maybe this will serve you in a good way, but maybe it's just not time yet. Or maybe there's more. Maybe it's an even bigger expression of that desire. But the way to get there is different than what you had imagined. So this is something that I highly recommend you keep in mind if this is something that you're going through in the past or are going through now. It goes back to that old saying, you don't always get what you want, you get what you need. And sometimes the needs and the wants align, and sometimes they don't. But a lot of times when they don't align, it's typically because, I'm sure there are exceptions, is because they typically don't align because it may not be a pure desire to begin with. From what I understand, heart's desires, when they're completely pure, and when they're, needs, so heart's desires, when they're pure, and needs, tend to align really well. They're pretty much the same. But if there's any bit of egoic, energy in those desires, if they're tainted, you'll find that there's a gap between what you need and what you want. Okay? So sometimes we go through these disappointments to help us really reflect and see what's going on a deeper level so we can realign to what's real and to what's actually going to be of service to us. Okay? So, wasn't planning on making this video today. My energy is still not back to where I want it to be because I'm still processing some stuff. Some heavy stuff, but being outside really helped. But I send you all lots of love, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. Thank you for watching, and that's it. Bye.